ahead. What is Reese's?
Like.
Read, answer question.
Answer question. Yes. Read it. Yes.
Cite.
Cite. And what's E? What's E?
Evidence.
Explain. Yes. What is that?
See, the S is summarize.
Yes. All right.
Way to use your notes, Travis. Good job.
I wonder
Okay.
how many abbreviations there are at this
So
point.
what we did last week was a bit of an introduction. We're going to go a little deeper today. So once you get out your ISMs, if you haven't done so already, turn to a nice blank page. You're going to be taking some notes. Now, you don't have to write down every single thing word for word from the slides. Just get the main idea. We're going to be working on note-taking skills today, as well as making something that you can use kind of as a cheat sheet when we do our next activity. Alina, did you have a question? Yes, you can write in fun colors in your notes. And for the activity as well. But otherwise, for anything official for us earnings, nope, nobody ever for it. Okay, so we are looking at our, again, this is just the beginning of part A, of answering the question, because we are restating the question. So this is just the very first part of your very first sentence. Super short, and you get it from the prompt. So if the prompt starts out with, how does the author show blah, 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 you're going to end it with, the author shows. What do? We took the main subject and the verb, we took them out, and that is our sentence starter. How about, what is the passage saying? The passage says. Shut up. Compare both passages. This passage says this. This passage says that. Easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So go on and write this down. Doesn't have to be word for word like I said. But I would like you to get these in particular. If they're in your notes, it'll be easier for you to remember them in case you come across them in the future, which I'm sure you will undoubtedly. So I'll give you 30 seconds for this. Formula. Don't think about having, 3 specific reasons. Just let the formula flow out of your mind for the moment. You need to focus on just answering the question. So you're thinking about it like it's a short answer question, except you actually have to back up your reasoning. But that's basically it for A. You have the very first part of the sentence, which is R, and the very second part of the sentence, which is A. Easy peasy. 2 letters in one. Okay, gonna be switching up in just a few seconds. Alright, switching in 3, 2, 1. C, citing evidence. You should have at least 2 to 3 sentences, and you need to choose the best evidence for the answer. What's the best evidence? Whatever helped you answer your question in the first place. So just look through your prompt, go, oh, well, this tells me the answer, this tells me the answer. Use at least 2 quotes from the passage. One just isn't enough, but 2, they don't expect you to write a whole essay, but 2 is good. And be as direct as possible. They're not looking for word count on this, they're looking for accuracy. We're going to be taking a look at a few samples of real student writing, and some of them who got the highest marks didn't even write that much, but it's because they were direct. They answered the question and they got right to the point. So C is really going to be the meat of your constructive response. Okay, can I move on?
Not yet.
Okay. 10 seconds. Okay. Now explaining your evidence. There should be about 1 to 2 sentences per quote that you put in. And just put the quotes in your own words. Explain what's going on in relation to the answer. For example, what the author means here is, this evidence shows that. This means that. Boom, there you go. 3 easy peasy sentence starters for explaining your evidence. trying to give you a handy dandy reference guide for when you're not sure what to do and you're not sure what your response should look like. So for those of us who are visual and we like organizing our things visually, showing you the numbers might help. Alright, almost ready to move on. Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. 10 more seconds. Okay. Last but not least, summarize. This is just one sentence. You're going to go back to part A, to your main idea where you answered the question, and you're going to rephrase it. Please do not just copy it word for word because the people who are grading you will see that and they'll probably not give you full points. They want you to see original ideas. And here you have some more easy peasy sentence starters. In conclusion, this paragraph shows. To conclude, the author states.
Do you have to use those sentence starters?
You don't have to use those sentence starters, but because we're building you up to speed, so to speak, it's a lot better for you to have some tools at your fingertips than to just kind of rush in blindly going, okay, I'm going to try this. This uses, I don't want to say professional language.
Academic.
Thank you, academic language. It always helps your score if they see you using academic language. And that's what these prompts include. And that is about it for races. Now, no, we'll talk about that once we get to it. Okay. Almost ready for me to move on? We got one last thing to look at. Okay. Now today, because we have time, the bell is about to ring though, isn't it, Miss Ernest?
What time is it?
It is 1:50.
And you get 15 minutes.
Oh, 15 minutes?
Mm-mm.
Oh, hot dog. Okay. Well, then you'll just get your lap about 15 minutes later. Well, actually, no. We said 10 minutes for this.
Mhm.
Okay. It went by pretty fast with the other class. So we're going to try a constructed response today. And I've laid this up for you on the board so you can see your response should be about like 5 to 7 sentences long at least. If you need to write more, that's okay. But this is a good amount for a good constructed response. And this is what you're going to need to do with your clean sheet of notebook paper. You will be writing your response. Here they are. But you are allowed to use your notes with this. So you can keep your ISN out on the table. We took some notes last week as well. We wrote down some sentence starters. You may use those for this as well. And we're going to put the clock to around 10 minutes because people were finishing early this morning. But if you need more time, we can give you more time. Oh, yep. No I, no you. Stick with he, she, it, they, all that under beautiful jazz. Okay, so go on and put your homework doodads up that you were working on because we're about to continue our constructive response activity. And let's see.
Colin.
Mention the reason why
I'm not weaving yet.
we're doing what we are doing. It's in your lap. It's not up. It needs to be in your.
Do I need to hold your weaving?
Okay. Thank you. All right. So the reason we're focusing on constructive responses the way we are today is because when I was with you last week, I could tell you all getting the details so well. You're able to pick out all of those pieces of evidence from that particular prompt. You did such a good job on it. I'm so proud of you guys. And I did notice though we needed to focus more on getting the main idea of the whole paragraph, figuring out how everything flowed. And so that's what we're working on today. You just wrote your own constructed response right now. And very shortly we're going to look at real examples from real students who submitted these for grades. And you're going to look at some of them and you're going to go, how did you think you could get away with this? Anyway, so right now you're going to do a trade in grade with whoever is at your table. So trade with one other person. Miss Clark, are notes, make sure it has all of that. It should probably be a 2. If it's a 1, it maybe has the answer, but it doesn't have evidence. Or it has evidence, but it doesn't have the answer. It's just not enough. It's only gone halfway there. And there's probably going to be some minor spelling errors or errors in logic, so that's 1. 0. It doesn't make sense at all. No real answer, no real evidence. It's just kind of going every which way.
Or it might be off
Major-
topic.
Mhm.
It might not answer the prompt.
Or it may not answer the prompt at all. It's just completely irrelevant. And there are probably going to be major spelling errors as well. So, grade your person's paper who you traded with, and then explain why. Don't just say, I give you a 2, because it's awesome. That's not good. Why is it not good? Exactly, because it doesn't explain anything. You need to know, give them at least one thing that they did right, and one thing that they can improve on. And we're going to give you about
Wait.
3-4 minutes to do that. The paper that I have given you, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The paper I have given you. Hold on one second. Colin, hold on one second. You need to explain this next part. So the paper I have given you are real student answers that all got scores of 2. These are for all 3 of the different prompts that we just looked at. And now, as a group, I would like, and y'all can work together in your groups or your partnerships, but highlight in each of these 3, where's the R, where's the A, where's the C, where's the E, where's the S. We're going to dissect these student responses to see what made them successful. And I would like you to, if you need a highlighter, if you need a marker, we have pencils over there in the cubby, grab these colors, red, yellow, green, blue, pink or purple, whatever, that corresponds with that part of races, and highlight them in each of these responses. These responses are short. If one of you want to take one of them and another one take another one, that's fine. And or if everybody just wants to work together. I want to see these papers highlighted and rainbow-tastically beautiful by the end of this activity. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes. 10 minutes to do this. But let's not worry too much about that. Worry more about making sure you underline and or highlight each of these components in those excerpts. Because we're looking at the successful ones. When we look at the unsuccessful ones, you'll be able to tell more easily what is missing.
I need it. I have to write.
Okay, guys, finish up. I need you to. Okay, but still. Okay, make sure everybody's name is on your paper, and you will turn those in at the end of class. But for right now, we're going to continue with the PowerPoint. Everybody, eyes up here. Eyes up here. Hearing way too much talking. Okay. Who can tell me, where is the R in the Emily Carter story?
What author supports the theme?
Author supports the theme. There you go. Because what was it originally, the prompt? You had this prompt. Read it for me. What was the question? Colin, what's the question? Read it for me.
Explain how the author supports the theme that items found in nature can be useful.
There we go. So the author supports the theme that items in nature can be useful by. There we go. That's it. That's exactly how we started it. There's the R. Okay, so where's the answer? Where's,
For example.
not for example, but you're close. You're close. Remember, what did I say? We're like married together. R and what's the second one?
Oh.
R and what is it, Travis?
RNA.
A, RNA. So if R is the very first part of that sentence, what's the rest of the sentence going to be?
So we A.
A. There we go. Can be useful by talking about all the things from nature and how they are used to make pottery. So there you go. R and A. One simple sentence. Alright, where's C? Which sentence is so C?
For example,
For example, in the story. Yep.
they usually from a top left.
It's a specific example. Very good. And give me one more. What's the second one? Y'all just read this. Give me the second one. What is it? I'm hearing crickets. Come on, guys. Where's the second one? Your grandmother. Yes.
Also uses a rock to make her pots shiny.
Exactly. really explain their evidence in this one?
No.
Why not?
Because
What was the prompt?
supporting.
Yes, how the author supports the theme, and he just talks about certain things. For example, so in this case, citing the examples was also explaining. So, I mean, sometimes that happens in papers, but anyway. But did they have a summary at the end?
No.
No, but doesn't really matter in this case. Is this a really good answer on its own?
Yeah.
It restates the question and answers the question, and it gives lots of evidence. So there you go. Not everyone is going to have every single part of races in it, but for yours, I'm giving you that formula, and it's best to go on and shoot for that formula, so that way you have tools to use. That's what's most important here. Okay, now we're going to take a look at a score of 1 on Family of Potters. Can I get someone to read this for me? Please, Elena.
The author supports this theme by talking about all the natural items and Ella's grandma uses instead of real tools when making pottery, like rocks and leaves.
Now, why did this just get a 1? What's it missing?
The evidence.
The evidence? Exactly. What else, John?
Citing. Summary.
The summary.
Citing.
Citing. Yeah, there's nothing. It starts with restating the question, and it kind of answers the question, but then there's just nothing else. They just made a statement, but there's absolutely no support behind it. So, the test makers have to acknowledge they got part of it right, and that's why they got the 1. But that's it. Alright, who wants to read the 0 for me? Lena, want to read it again?
Yeah.
Okay.
He or she supports the theme by talking about stuff in nature and how they are used.
Oh. Stuff in nature. What does that tell me?
Nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. What stuff in nature? Because the prompt talks about nature, but what stuff?
Like it could be like chemicals,
Exactly.
oil.
Exactly.
It could be land.
It could be anything. It's way too vague. They do absolutely nothing. They kind of restate the question, but then they don't answer it.
Did
And then of course it's absolutely nothing else. And it's a sentence long.
Did you actually did somebody in 8th grade do this?
This was a real response by a real student.
Like in the school?
No,
No.
not in the school.
Oh, okay.
We got these off of a website that provides real examples so that teachers can see how to teach y'all not to do this. Because I know none of y'all would do this. Y'all are writing way too much, you know. So of course you're gonna look at this like, what? Okay. And we still have to do the reflection. So get your paper back from the person who graded it for you. And at the very bottom, I want you to grade yourself. Now that you've had someone else grade you, you've seen real life examples. Hold on guys, I want to make sure you hear this. Grade yourself using the same system. And explain why. Be honest. Try and grade yourself as honestly as possible because you will still have a lot more time to practice this. So if you have a 0 right now, that's okay. You've still got lots of time to learn how to write a constructed response before you. And I mean, we're working on a research paper as well, and of course that's going to help you write these even better. And as soon as you are done writing your little self-reflection, I would like you to staple your prompt to your constructed response, make sure your name is on everything, and turn it in.